Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of Fearless Tarot, How to Give Yourself a Positive Reading in Any Situation, which is due out from Llewellyn Books this October, and it's already available for pre-order. So if you like my positive approach to tarot, you're going to love this book because I show you how to apply even the most frightening tarot imagery constructively so that you're not having to feel dread when you see it in your reading, but instead you get some deeper meaning from it that can actually transform your outlook on your life. It's time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals and I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal's getting stuck in your head, because that animal has a message for you. And if you're wondering why I was looking that way, it's because I'm looking out the window and I was seeing a little hummingbird there. So maybe the hummingbird is giving us a message too of joy, even though that is not one of the animals that we have picked today. So the animals you have to select from are the cow, the mouse, and the stag. So just ask your intuition right now, which animal is getting stuck in your head? Is it the cow? Is it the mouse or the stag? Because that animal has a message for you. For cow, the card says the miracles are endless, and cows are a symbol of abundance. In the ancient world, your wealth was judged by how much cattle you had. And so the cow could indicate that it's time to really start putting your focus on wealth building or career building or whatever it is that's going to build abundance in your life at this time. The first card for cow is where it's best to place your focus at this time. And we get the 6 of Cups reversed. The 6 of Cups, upright or reversed, is always a card of the past. It's a card of looking back. And when it's the reversed version of the card, it could indicate that it's time to heal something from the past that was unpleasant or something that you keep hanging on to. Sometimes when I see the 6 of Cups reversed, it's a real time of reprogramming, where you start to retrain your brain to think in positive expectation terms instead of negative expectations because of something that happened before. Whenever this card comes up, it says that just because something happened before a certain way does not doom you to experiencing it happening again that exact same way. In fact, it probably won't even go the same way. And so this could be a time to really get clear on what your expectations are and to release the past. The second card is advice from your inner wisdom, and the moon is coming up, and the moon is all about going deep. And so again, for the people who pick cow, there are some deep things that have settled into the sediment of your unconscious that it's time to pull up and inspect. Much like that lobster that's in the foreground of the card, bringing up knowledge from the bottom of that body of water in the foreground of the moon card. This could be a time where you're really starting to examine something that you've been hanging on to. The moon pulls at us, and our unconscious attitudes are the same way. Things that have settled to the bottom of our consciousness can often rule us from behind the scenes. And so we might be acting in irrational ways because we're still motivated by these old unresolved feelings. And in fact, in Latin, the moon is luna, where we get our word lunatic from. So sometimes this says if you're acting in a baffling way, or if your mood is motivating you in a way that feels kind of ambiguous or unusual, this could be a time where you really need some alone time. You need to light some candles, maybe give yourself a reading, and really just examine, what is going on in your heart of hearts at this time and what really needs to be resolved. And then finally, we have a mythic archetype that's going to be helping the people who pick cow, and we have the 3 Moirae, the 3 fates. And whenever the 3 fates come up, they say that there's a ring of destiny going on around you right now. And so it's going to feel like there are things that are in your consciousness that now need to come to an end. It's time to cut the string, cut the attachment to the past, and move forward for your future. This is a timely period to do so. And so this could be a period where you really want to let go of the past. You really want to cut that thread to the past, and you really want to re-begin your life at this time in some sort of new focus. And the 3 fates also just say, follow your fate, follow your destiny, follow that inner call of whatever it is that you're trying to build. Really go toward that inner voice. Next, we have the mouse spirit, and the mouse says tend to the small things. And if you are attracted to mouse, it could be a time to pay attention to the details, to really get into the nitty gritty. The place for Mouse to place their focus this next week is the Five of Swords, which says, don't overdo it. The Five of Swords is a card of not taking on more than you can handle. And whenever we see the Five of Swords, it's indicating that there is so much to do that it can get overwhelming, that instead you really want to do what you can right now and then leave the rest for later. It's better to pay attention and do a detailed job on a smaller section of the work you're doing right now, rather than trying to accomplish too many things or having too many irons on the fire. So really focus your energy when we see that Five of Swords. Next, advice from your inner wisdom is the Knight of Wands reversed. And the Knight of Wands reversed could indicate that there's just a need to get a wider perspective. You might have been running in circles in the same area or doing the same thing, or beating your head against the wall with the same approach. And the Knight of Wands reversed says that something new is needed right now. Sometimes we need a new perspective by leaving our humdrum daily grind and going to something completely different so that we can look on our projects or our life with new eyes. It's called escaping the bubble. And so if you're feeling like you've been trapped in a bubble, it might be time to just allow yourself some time away from that bubble, or to allow yourself a little bit of a getaway, or even if it's just changing up your routine, that Knight of Wands says that's going to be so helpful to you. So not only pay attention to the details and handle the small things, and only handle what you can handle, but also get some new perspective, get a fresh perspective. And then the mythic archetype that is going to be helping the Mouse people is Hemera. She's the goddess of day. Her name means day, and this is just a card that says every day is a new day. If you are frustrated because something has not been working up to this point, you can change that right now. You can really shift your focus. You might need to pace yourself. You might need to also pace your transformation and not try to do everything all at once. But you can also just get that fresh perspective. So maybe today is a time to begin anew. And that is Mouse's message. And finally, we have the Stag Spirit. So this card says, take the lead. And Stag is a symbol for leadership, taking charge of your life, and really standing with integrity. Whenever we see Stag, it's just saying, don't be afraid of asserting yourself at this time or putting yourself forward. That is going to be how you're able to succeed. First card is where it's best to place your focus if you pick Stag, and we got the Page of Wands, and he's that card of aspiration. He's holding that tall wand in front of him, which is much like a measuring rod, and you can see he hasn't quite grown into it yet. He's still looking up to it. But the Page of Wands is a positive growth card. So what this could really indicate is that something that you're developing, something that you're growing at this time, is showing some positive results, and you need to be optimistic about it. You also need to measure your place in that growing process and maybe not get frustrated if everything isn't a finished product right now, or if it's not all complete, or if you're not 100% perfect. That Page of Wands just says, allow yourself some room to grow. And also look up to the people that have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, because they hold the key of how to get there. And better yet, if you can get in touch with them, or you can get some mentorship or some training, or even speak to people who are in the know, that is going to be the way forward past a blockage you're experiencing at this time. Second, we have advice from your inner wisdom if you pick the Stag, and we got Temperance, a very healing card. The Angel of Temperance is pouring one full cup of water into an empty cup. And what that could really indicate is right now it's time to take stock of what needs to be replenished in your experience if you pick Stag. Sometimes Temperance just tells you to balance more, or pay attention to your health, take care of yourself a little bit more. And then also we see so much water on this card that features so prominently. It could just indicate you need more water, or even to put yourself near a huge body of water for its tranquility and for the healing effects it can have on your psyche. And then finally, that Angel of Temperance has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the dry earth. And that could indicate that you want to really balance your creative, spiritual pursuits at this time with also the practical needs of the mundane world. And then finally, the mythic archetype that is going to be helping the Temperance people, well, there we got it, the god of water himself, the god of the sea, Poseidon. This could be a time where you're really kind of getting something cleaned out, cleared out. In fact, the card is called Earth Shaker, and Poseidon was called the shaker of the earth. He could make earthquakes happen. And earthquakes shake up old structures, and they crumble the earth apart so that new structures can begin. And so this could just be a time where it's time to sweep out the old, allow the new to come in, and really look up towards your greatest goals. Check in with your deepest feelings as well. So that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you can always check me out at elliotoracle.com and schedule a personal one-on-one session with me. Otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and healthy week, and do take care.